The Walking People, Episode 1. Today, something really weird happened. I work a part time job at the local shopping mall, or rather outside the mall, in the parking lot, at a small cottage looking grill, selling hot dogs and stuff. I can't say that I enjoy working there, but it's definitely one of the more pleasant jobs I've had. My physical well being is not on the line, I'm sheltered from the elements, people are in a good mood for the most part, and it's not exactly hard work either. Except in summer when the lack of an AC and the heat of the grill combine into approximately the temperature at the surface of the sun. Today was chill though, literally. It was a mild winter's day, and the parking lot was covered in a thin blanket of thawing snow. Icicles hanging from the roof of my little cottage glistened in the sunlight, and a serene quiet, only disturbed by the croaking of tires on snow, filled the air, which got me into a zen mood, and my mind started wandering. Around noon, no one was at the booth and I was in the process of daydreaming about my latest woodworking project. I heard footsteps in the snow that somehow snapped me out of it. It wasn't the first nor the last footsteps I had heard today, so I can't really explain how those were different and got my attention. Except maybe because of how steady they were, if that makes any sense. I mean, it doesn't. All people sort of walk at a steady pace if you think about it. The footsteps belonged to a man in his early 50s, a rather ugly fella with a mad double chin, even though he wasn't fat at all. I kind of felt sorry that was the first thing I had noticed, but it was just so prominent, so I saw it first. That and his bright red beanie that clashed with his light blue winter jacket. Nothing out of the ordinary, just your average, not an ounce of fashion sense customer. The weirdness started when we locked eyes for the first time. He greeted me and immediately ordered 2 hot dogs from like a mile away. Yet another rude jerk, I thought, giving him the stink eye all the way down to my booth. Again, noticing how weirdly steady and mechanical his gait was. I didn't give it much thought at the time and just started preparing the hot dogs. As he came close, I saw that his skin was all dry and flaky, as if he had been out in the cold for a really long time. Bro must really enjoy his long ass mechanical walks, I thought to myself, and turned around pretending to grab something to hide my smile. In hindsight, he might just work outside. Construction or road work would fit the bill. Anyway, that was still all fairly normal, but I really had to stop what I was doing for a second when he didn't actually stop at my booth, or even slow down, and instead started circling one of the standing tables in the front trying to maintain eye contact with me, which obviously doesn't work well if you're turning all the time. I was so baffled I didn't even notice he didn't say please when he ordered a Coke along with his hot dogs, which is one thing that normally rubs me the wrong way. I couldn't help but watch him as much as I could, like an accident. His movements were so deliberate and steady. The turns he made perfect circles, which I know are weird things to say about someone, which is why I feel like it's all the more important somehow. I know he caught me staring because he blurted out, "Sorry, I have a condition." Normally I would have stopped looking at that point. That's just good manners. But I didn't believe him one bit. You see, I've worked in hospitals, as a janitor in a madhouse, and the craziest place of all, in retail. I've seen my fair share of OCD people and stuff. This was different. Also, I could tell he was lying. He couldn't even look me in the eye saying it, even though he had tried so hard to maintain eye contact just a second ago. So I only half looked away, peeking whenever I could, but I didn't say anything. If this job has taught me one thing, it's that it's better to stay out of people's business, especially if they seem a little weird, or else they might just pull a gun on you. But that's a story for another day. Of course, I prepared his meal anyway. He was a paying customer after all, or so I was hoping. But indeed, as he was finishing his next round, he put some cash on the counter, telling me to keep the change. Needless to say, all without stopping. Then it looked like he tried to go for the next circle, but somehow he couldn't. It looked like someone had pushed him the other way. He almost lost balance, doing a sort of ballet figure on one leg, arms outstretched. And when he caught himself, he went the other way around, making a full circle around my booth, which I didn't know what to make of that and sort of expected him to walk in through the back door any second, regretting not having quickly locked the door when obviously confronted with yet another nutcase. I prepared for the worst, but nothing happened. Instead, I heard a crashing noise from behind the booth, which I can only assume was him tripping over the cables in the back and into the stack of supply crates, since I found them all in disarray later on. Maybe he didn't pay attention to where he was stepping because there was a very minor earthquake that happened around the same time. It wasn't much though, and it only went on for a couple seconds, but I can imagine it having distracted him. Whatever happened back there, he must have gotten up really quickly, because sure enough, he came back around the other side as if nothing happened, took the hot dogs in one fell swoop, without stopping as always, and wishing me a good day with the most awkward forced smile I've ever seen, he started eating them while walking away. I was so confused by that whole interaction that I had to take a second. I looked around for a hidden camera or some kind of TikTok influencer filming the whole thing, but there was no one there except for some people with grocery bags in the distance. What I realized in that moment, though, is that the guy hadn't walked back to where he'd come from, and not towards a car either. So I walked out to see where he was going and saw him just walk out into the street, heading west. I yelled, "Bro, there's nothing there for miles!" But he didn't seem to hear me or deliberately ignored me, and the next customer was already approaching, so I just had to let him go. I've been thinking about this incident the whole day, and at first I felt guilty that I didn't run after him. Poor guy is probably still walking that same road. But actually, and I know it sounds wrong and maybe I'm just protecting my own sanity here, but I think he's fine. Like, I'm 99% sure he lied about his condition, and he seemed to know exactly what he was doing. I just feel like he was on some kind of mission. He wasn't dressed for any kind of activity though, and had no equipment on him. So, what then? He wasn't in a hurry, and definitely wasn't in a hurry to freaking walk into no man's land. But that last expression he gave me, that tortured smile, I know he wasn't exactly happy about the fact that he had to eat while walking. That and his mechanical ass movements. Call me crazy, but I just can't let go of one thought. What if he wasn't able to stop? I wonder what compelled him. Hi there, thanks for listening to my little story. This was the pilot episode of a series that only lives in my head so far, and I kind of want to see how the reception is. So please, if you liked it, tell me in the comments that you want the rest of it, and give the video a thumbs up. That way you can help my channel grow, and you can tell me to make more. Also, if you like role-playing and tabletop games, check out my Patreon or Ko-fi, where you can get access to the games I'm making. And of course, if you simply want to support me because you like my content, you can do that there as well. And speaking of Patreon, thank you so much for your support to my one and only patron, the Nero Face. Thanks again for watching, have a wonderful time, Matt Mora out.